Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Southern Hockey Network. I'm Gavin Coker, joined by Noah Gabruk, and we have an exciting matchup for you today, as this is Game 2 of the series between the Florida Southern Moccasins and the Lynn University Fighting Knights. Noah, what are we looking for in this matchup of Game 2 of the series?
I just want to see a little more compete out of Florida Southern. We talked about it yesterday. Lynn was on every loose puck, and they were rewarded on the scoreboard and also in time of possession. I think if Florida Southern move their feet towards those loose pucks and they can get a little bit of possession of their own. And honestly, as well, the game was, for the most part, pretty even. You could have said that Florida Southern could have had maybe 2 or 3 goals yesterday, but Lynn's goaltender and Hunter Galgani standing tall today. But we do have a different goaltender in for Lynn and Brody Dixon. So this should be an exciting one. Hopefully Florida Southern come out with a little juice and keep this one pretty even.
Yeah, and a starting goaltender change for the Mocs, and we saw a little bit of him yesterday as Vincent Simonian's back in between the pipes for the Mocs. He finished off the third after Cribbs suffered an injury late in that one. As Mocs win the opening face-off. Marshall skating back into his zone. And Wyden back in the game today as well. Catazone back for the puck. Passes across ice to Marshall. Marshall sends it up the boards to Wyden. Bounces over his stick, but Wyden forces a turnover on Poirier. He tries to make a move. And that one sent out in front by the Mocs, but just nobody there as Izzo was trying to set up potentially a trailer for an early goal. And no, if you're the Mocs, you kind of have to feel like you want to get a goal early in this one to kind of shake off the jitters from yesterday and break in and get an early lead.
Yeah, that was a good look there from Wyden, making a nice move to the inside on Poirier, and couldn't quite get the handle on the shot, but that's a good start there for Florida Southern.
Yeah, and it's about getting early pressure and putting goals on the board and not letting Lynn get out to a 2-0 lead like we saw yesterday in the first period. As Wyden tapped that one in, his Mocs will change. Urim has the puck, but he got slowed down at the blue line by Caden Williams. Now skating it in. Quick shot. That was Haley, the captain for the Fighting Knights. So it was sent around the board there. Constant with the puck in the mock zone. Caden Williams, with some help from Hunter Rice, able to take that puck away. Rice sends that one up the boards to Williams. Williams dumps that one in. Williams will chase after it. Haley now in his zone, passes across to Roca. And Donnelly and Urim collide in there. Some early physicality in this one. Urim now with the puck. Sends it to Constant. Constant through the neutral zone, gets it into the mock zone. Trying to ring it around the board, but pressured by Donnelly. Now Nochi with the puck. He gets it out to Merrill at the blue line. Merrill tries to send it around, but bounces off of Nochi and turned over. Mocs do get the clear, but just sent back in by Haley. Donnelly back there for the Mocs. He'll ring it around the boards. Burkhart tried to get it, but came out to Nochi. Quick shot off the pad of Simonian and out to the left of him. Around for Merrill. Merrill tried to center it, and that one just nobody there as it comes out back to neutral ice. Haley collects it for the Fighting Knights. The Lattice sending it across. Little check there. Just rolls in on Simonian. He'll just stop it with his stick. Ring it around the boards. Bradley Petterlin tried to skate into it, but Colmere getting there first. And Petterlin trying to use his stick, get the puck away. That one rolls back, and some good action on both ends of the ice. A lot of speed in this game. We saw that yesterday from Lynn, Noah.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing from Florida Southern. Maybe not as much time of possession to start here, but they're keeping Lynn to the outside, and they haven't really gotten a really nice chance yet. But, again, it looks like everyone out there is moving their feet, which that's something you want to see if you're the Florida Southern coaching staff.
Yeah, and they got caught flat-footed too many times, and the speed of Lynn will kill you if you just can't keep up. Pass out in front there. Almost a dangerous opportunity, but missed the stick, and now Wyden skating it up with some speed. Tried to get it around Boyer. Was not able to, and He forces a turnover, kicks it cross ice to Merrill in the neutral zone. Merrill skating it back across, making some moves at center ice. He tries to get inside, but Izzo's there to cut him off with help from Catazone. It's Greg Petterlin now with the puck. And Marshall now has some space, so he'll skate it up. He just fires one in on Dixon, you know, making the goalie make a save. Any shot's dangerous if you're Will Marshall, so.
Yeah, and we've seen that earlier this year, Wyden against University of Florida scored from his own blue line, and like they say, puck's on net.
Yeah, and that's all you got to do in this game if you're Florida Southern and you're trying to get back into this series. Puck's down low. That's Andre. As he was checked by Catazone. Those two guys got into it yesterday and ended up in a Andre ejection. So that one shipped up the board, and Wyden's trying to get some speed, but good play by Morey negated that as Wyden gets a stick on it in the neutral zone, forces a turnover, and now he has the puck on his stick. And he's got something to prove yesterday as he got into it with Chase Stebbins, and he takes a little check there from Andre, and Andre hit by Izzo, and now Andre and Wyden loses his helmet. Izzo and Wyden down there in the corner with Andre, and you know, we talked about it yesterday. This game got a little physical between Andre and some of the Mocs, so they're not going to put up with that today.
Yeah, and that was kind of a nothing play, and Andre took a swipe at Izzo and caught him up high, but yeah, Wyden with his helmet off. I got to see who they're taking here. Looks like Cole Wyden's being sent to the box, as well as Mark Andre.
So yeah, just those are two penalties that neither team had to take, and in my book it just doesn't make sense, you know. I mean, obviously Andre throwing a punch, that's going to end you up in the box every time, but Wyden let it get away from him a little bit, and another unnecessary penalty, like I mentioned, for both squads.
Yeah, that's just something you got to skate away from too. Yeah, that, you know, that it's a, you know, close game already. You know, you don't want to hurt your team in any way, but thankfully it's a penalty on each side. We'll skate 4-on-4.
Yeah, so face-off down in the Lynn Fighting Knights zone as Rice slides in to take it. Fighting Knights win it as Roca has it. He'll send it back around the board. That's to Haley. Back to Roca. They'll move it up. Constant now with the puck. Roca took a hit there from Rice. Constant had the puck, and that one's whistled down for offsides.
Yeah, that was a nice play. Williams forcing Constant to make a lateral move on the blue line, and that ultimately caused the offsides. That's something that you want to do if you're on the defensive end, is keeping your gaps close and forcing plays like that.
Yeah, and both sides will have to tighten this game up if they're going to get a goal on the board. As Lynn has it in the zone. Roca skating along the blue line. He fires a quick shot, and I'm not quite sure how Simonian saw that, but he makes a good glove save as there was some traffic. Constant got pushed down in the crease, and Simonian made a good save there.
Yeah, and that was a hard shot, too, from Rocha. And, yeah, good on him to get that through, and Simonian just snatching that out of midair with the glove.
Yeah, and Simonian's been a strong presence in the net, and when he gets going, he's really hard to score on, which is something the Mocs really like from him in the net. As Mocs now have it in the zone, Izzo skated in, lost his stick on a slash, so Haley is going to the box.
He kicked Izzo's stick away. I don't know if they're going to get him for that, too.
I mean, if you saw how yesterday's game went, you kind of have to think that's going to be an extra 2 minutes, and that's going to make it 4-on-3 for
Yeah.
55 seconds.
Yeah, right now I think Florida Southern's very level-headed, and Lynn, yeah, letting their emotions get the better of them right now, and they're starting to take penalties, and let's see if Florida Southern can capitalize on this opportunity.
Yeah, and these are penalties you don't need to take. I mean, you played a good, clean game as Mocs win that face-off. Catazone sends it to Marshall, back to Catazone. Catazone with a shot. That one's blocked, and we'll get a whistle. No change as the net came off. Dickinson maybe caught it with his pad, or maybe it just wasn't too secure. With 13:36 left to go here in the first period. So Mocs win that face-off. Catazone at the blue line, kicks it down low to Petterlin, back up to Marshall. And that was knocked. Marshall tried to get it to Catazone, and Kaplan was able to get a stick in there, but Marshall skates it back in. He'll drop it for Petterlin. Now Catazone with it. Catazone fires. Dixon made the initial save, and the Fighting Knights will get that one out.
Yeah, Izzo all alone in front there. Couldn't quite find that loose puck. But good on the Mocs setting up early here on the power play.
Yeah, they've had good opportunities, and just good sticks by Lynn have probably negated some high danger chances as that one goes around the board, and a little miscommunication as Petterlin was going for a change there. So that one's rung around the boards. Marshall's in after it. And a big hit there. So back to 5-on-4 as the first penalty is killed. And now Nochi gets the pass up to Sexton, who has a chance, and Simonian makes the save. Loose puck, net comes off as two players collided into that. So Simonian making big saves, which we talked about.
Yeah, and crashing into the net was Catazone and Sexton. Catazone, a really nice back check there to get the stick on that initial shot, but then Simonian able to stay with it and track that second rebound.
So the Mocs will be able to get a change, and that puck's going to come out of the Mock zone, looking like they said Sexton is the reason that that comes off, so that allows a Mock change. As Nochi and Dubois slide in here. Fighting Knights win that one. Sexton tried to send it around the boards, but fanned on it, so Marshall just takes that over. As the Mocs will skate it up, pass across to Dubois. He's trying to, looks like he was trying to move it in and just a little too much, and Sexton and Rice collide along the boards. Cole Dubois now forces a turnover, gets it to Izzo. Izzo with the backhand, puck's loose. Dixon got on it, but the puck came loose. And those are those opportunities where you're just looking to leave rebound opportunities.
Yeah, and honestly, that's great that Florida Southern even got a shot off there. And nice play from Cole Dubois to stay on that puck that got away from him a little bit and created a 2-on-1 off of that.
And Simonian smacking the stick down as he's letting his team know that that power play is over. We're back to 5 aside. Because now Nochi fires in on Simonian. He just sticks that one aside. Says get that out of here. The Mocs now have it. Rice kicks it up. It goes out of the blue line. Now Carabel skating into it. He lays a big hit. Now Andre skating it in. Fresh out of the box. He shoots. Simonian gets the save, and that one goes out wide. Good save there by Simonian. That one was tried to catch Petterlin on the break, and just a stick in there by the Fighting Knights as that one's sent down, and ref's arms up for icing, but they'll negate that as they say Roca could have got there in time for that.
Yeah, Lynn, a great breakout as they were facing a lot of pressure, and that created a really nice opportunity for Andre.
And Stebbins dropped the puck back there for Scopatula, who tried to get a centering pass. But good defense by the Mocs as Petterlin drops that one in as the Mocs will get a change. Oken out there with the puck. He sends it back to Petterlin. Greg Petterlin, Catazone. Petterlin to Oken. Oken hit into the boards there. Williams quick shot, and that one's just gloved by Dickinson. So 10-10 here to go in this period, and good pace on both sides. What are you liking from both squads here, Noah?
I think everyone's just moving their feet and honestly, yeah, making really nice passes. Everyone's keeping everything to the outside. Nice defensive structure from both squads. And yeah, this is shaping up to be a solid game.
Yeah, and I like the adjustment the Mocs have made. They're doing a good job keeping pressures. There's a 2-on-1 now for Lynn. The shot, Simonian makes the save. Good job by Petterlin taking away the passing lane there.
Yeah, and for someone like Simonian, I'm sure he's wanting Petterlin to take away that pass, and he did just that.
No, you play defense for this Mock squad. Have you taken a few laying down shots like that? Or?
Yeah, I try not to lay down because I've been taught that it takes you out of the play, and you just try to get in between the two forwards on that 2-on-1. Sometimes they'll try and go through you. If you're in the right position, you're able to pick the puck off. So yeah, Petterlin played that 2-on-1 very well.
Yeah, does a good job taking the passing lane away. Hey, did a good job there taking the passing lane away and just negating that dangerous 2-on-1 chance, which is how we saw a couple goals happen yesterday. As that puck is dropped, Izzo takes a quick shot, but that one got blocked. That one goes down low to Marshall. Turnaround chance and a big hit there, and that's going to be a penalty. Looks like we're getting a call there. Not sure what quite happened. Maybe Marshall fell there on the puck. So a quick whistle. Face off. Mocs get it. Marshall with a quick shot. Put it in on Dickinson, but just cleared out by the Fighting Knights as Lattis skates it up. He has Nochi. Nochi trying to make a move. Marshall with a good back check there, negating that opportunity. It's out to the line for Maury. Maury kicks it down low to Merrill. Merrill tried to get it across. He turns it over. And now Wyden trying to skate into it. Beat there by Poirier.
Wyden's made a lot of really nice defensive plays, and it's turned into some nice offensive chances. He's going to get one of those chances sometime this game.
Yeah, and his speed is a threat. We mentioned him in the Will Marshall line. They set each other up really well, and they have a lot of chemistry on the ice, which helps run this Florida Southern offense. As now Maury skating it up. He gets inside, but knocked off his stick as he went between Hunter Rice and John Burkhart. Quick shot by Merrill, and that one went wide. Judge down low. And that one escapes the zone. Maury questioning a change. Dickinson plays that one back to Merrill at center ice. And a good play there. As that one is taken away in the neutral zone by the Mocs. As Knights send it in deep. Dowdy has it. Dropped it back for Dickinson. Dowdy with a shot, but good stick there by the Mocs to weaken that opportunity and doesn't even get onto Simonian. Petterlin sends that one and catches up into the rafters with 7:23 here left to go in the first period. And what's been a tight game, not too many dangerous scoring chances. You know, we had the one Lynn 2-on-1 that was negated by Petterlin.
Yeah, and both teams playing a very structured game so far. No one doing anything too crazy, and that's something we like to see so far in this contest.
Yes, Mocs win that face-off for a second there, but Lynn able to come out with the possession. Quinn Judge skating it up. Quick shot on Simonian. Simonian tried to made the initial save, left it out for a rebound, but was able to cover it up and Dowdy slid in there and got knocked down by a couple of Mocs.
Yeah, good on the officials for not calling anything there. Mocs took exception to Dowdy getting a little bit too close to Simonian, and they let him know, and then let it off after that. So.
And that's what it's about. As we mentioned, the physicality for the Mocs being, it's a double-edged sword. Some nights it's great for them, and some nights they find themselves in the box because of it. But that's a good example of being physical and not going overboard.
Yeah, especially there, you want to protect your goaltender, and that's something that the coaching staff likes to see. And it's nice when you're not taking a penalty as well.
Shot there by Dickinson from the blue line, just kicked away by Simonian. As little hit there on Petterlin on the boards. Oaken comes in for a check as Lynn moves it around the Mocs zone. And trying to get it out there was Greg Petterlin, but just a little bit too weak there. Not enough wood on that one. As now the Mocs skated up through the neutral zone. As Lynn will slow it down and reset in their own zone. So now Quinn Judge down below us here has the puck. He makes a pass to Dickinson. Good move, tried to go top shelf, just above the net. Tried to get a little fancy with it there, but just ultimately too high as Mason Kaplan shoots. That one goes wide.
Yeah, that was a nice move from Dixon. Swooping around the defender, just missed the net high.
And still some pressure from the Fighting Knights as Sexton now, and we're going to get a whistle as two players are tied up. Looks like that was Mason Kaplan and Greg Petterlin, and they're going to...
Yeah, they're going to take them both.
Yeah, it looks like... Oh. Yeah, they're both going to go. And, if you're the ref, that's what you have to do in this game. No team gets an advantage. They're both playing the same game, and you've got to send them both if you're the refs down there on the ice.
Yeah, and good on them. They want to take control of this game, not let anything get out of hand, much like it did yesterday and also Friday night against Florida Tech.
Yeah, and it's good on the refs. You got to pay attention with two physical teams. If you know anything about these squads, Lynn's physical, Florida Southern's physical, and you've got to keep this game clean or it'll get out of hand. So we're going to play some 4-on-4 hockey as Petterlin and Kaplan are in the box. Petterlin for the Mocs and Kaplan for the Fighting Knights. This puck is dropped. Mocs win it. Izzo with it. He gets it back to Burkhart and passes it back to Izzo. Izzo has Marshall and Burkhart out wide of Simonian. Gets it to Marshall. Marshall tries to send it across to Burkhart, but Scopatulo with a good interception. He drops it off to Andre. Andre gets it back to the blue line for Haley. Haley kicks it across for Roca. Trying to get the cycle going. Roca tried to get it down to Scopatulo, but just off of his stick, and now the Mocs force a turnover, and now Marshall chips it off the boards to himself. He's got some speed. He tries to drop it in front. And Donnelly just not able to get there. As he was trailing, it was just out of reach for him. Marshall with a good opportunity there. Andre now with the puck on the blue line. He'll send it around to Haley, who's dropping into a forward spot. Andre now out. Quick shot, and Simonian's going to glove that up, and Constant doing a little bit of talking there, and Izzo says, back away from my goalie. And that's a guy you don't want to mess with if you're Drew Constant. Izzo's a tall order, and if you see the stature down there, you don't want to mess with Michael Izzo if you're Drew Constant.
He's hurting his neck looking up at him.
As Fighting Knights win that one, Dowdy drops it back to Poirier, who sends it across to Maury. Maury with a shot. That one goes wide. Simonian makes the initial save. Another save.
I don't know how he saved that second rebound.
Yeah, and he just seems to got his shoulder on it and sent it back behind the net. And that's what I was talking about Simonian. Every time he's in the net, I just wonder how he's making saves.
Yeah, and a lot of the reason for that is, he makes sure that he's in the right position just to have a chance at the puck hitting him, even if he's not seeing the puck. And I want to talk about this 4-on-4 as well. Lynn kind of majority of the possession so far. They're finding open guys. They're moving their feet.
As Lynn wins that one, but a good block by Caden Williams. Constant with a quick shot, and Simonian's able to cover that one up. So Constant and Marshall, and for this face-off, Marshall returning back to that forward position. Now with some speed. Mox, Catazone tried to skate it in, maybe took a little too long there. And now Mullen out on the ice for his first shift of the game. He tries to get it in sharp angle there, and Dickinson able to get the whistle.
That was a nice quick breakout from Florida Southern. Petterlin just chipping it off the boards up to Catazone. He chips it out of the zone, and that results in a nice rush there for the Mocs.
Yeah, so with 4 minutes left to go here in this first period. Marshall redirecting, doing a little coaching out there on the ice. As Sexton with a good pass to Urim. But good job by Donnelly getting back there and killing the breakout, as Urim also lost an edge and just couldn't get enough, and now the Mocs will be able to get a change. As Dubois out on the ice, Donnelly playing back on Sexton. He's alone. Sexton just setting up. He takes a quick shot, and Simonian makes a good save, but ultimately could have found the back of the net as it took a weird bounce. But a good job by Ronan Donnelly to just clear it from the empty net, and looks like we're going to get a penalty here. Looks like Donnelly's going to head to the box.
Yeah, that's a bit out of our vantage point, so we couldn't quite see what happened. But
oh, looks like.
Oh, yeah, looks like Urim.
Oh, excuse me. So Lynn got called for a penalty. Urim's going to head to the box. So another Mocs power play. 3:24 left in this one.
Make some noise here for the Southern College power play.
As Mocs win that face-off, Burkhart has it. He takes a quick shot, and Dickinson does a good job seeing that one, and he'll just cover that one up with the glove.
Yeah, not a bad thing for Burkhart to get that shot through, but Mocs need to get bodies to the net. Rice a little bit late getting to the front. That's something that Florida Southern needs to look for. They've got a lot of big bodies that can get in front.
And a backhand attempt there by Marshall as Mocs win that face-off. Izzo with it. He'll skate it up at the blue line. He kicks it down to Marshall, who's by the face-off circle. He'll make a spinorama, but he'll end up losing it wide and tries to keep it in and somehow comes out with the puck, but the Mocs are offside, so he'll have to slow it down. And Mocs do touch up. Now Marshall into the zone. Marshall sends it down low. Went off of a stick. Looks like of Izzo there and went out back behind the net. As Lynn's going to get the clear here. So a minute 19 left to go on the power play for the Mocs. Send up to Marshall, who just tries to chip it in, but ultimately no one there. Rice able to stop the clear from Haley. And now Izzo with it. Izzo moves in. He shoots. Puck's still loose, but we'll get a whistle. So he was looking for some free change, but refs blew the whistle. Couldn't quite see the puck and thought it was covered.
Yeah, I was kind of in front and to the left of Dixon, and the official kind of opposite to him. So looks like that puck's covered, but you know, obviously he's not at that correct vantage point, so he believes that's covered and blow the whistle.
Yeah, and I mean, it was tough to tell from up here where the puck was. So honestly, a good call by the refs. You know, you don't like that if you're in the Mocs because you know that puck is still loose. As Mocs win that face-off, Marshall has it. He passes it in, a shot by Rice, and that's off a stick of a Lynn defender. That was a good opportunity there.
That was a really nice passing play from Florida Southern. 4 guys touched the puck in about 3 seconds.
and still have pressure in the zone. And Marshall tried to keep it in, but wasn't able to. Burkhart now sends it back around to Marshall. Marshall battling. He loses it to Judge. Dickinson passes it back to Maury. 22 left to go on the power play for the Mocs. Marshall with it. He'll send it up to Izzo. Izzo skating it in. He had it on his stick for a second, loses it. Burkhart keeps it at the point. He kicks it to Marshall. Marshall wasn't quite ready for that. Marshall sends it in front. Sexton's there. Burkhart keeps it in at the blue line. And no, he doesn't. They call that offsides. You know, there's a reason we're up here in the booth. I thought that stayed on. Maybe I'm wrong, but.
Yeah, I mean, the blue lines here at the Lakeland Ice Arena, they're a little bit faded, so we can't quite tell if that puck really did get out, but yeah, the officials thought otherwise.
As we'll slide in here for the face-off. We apologize for the scoreboard issues. Software's a little glitchy as Lynn kills that penalty, and Scopatulo tries to get it to Sexton. Sexton was going down on a knee for a shot there and just wasn't able to come up with it. As now Scopatulo kicks it out to Andre. Andre back to Scopatulo. Scopatulo down low, fires a shot, and Lynn's gonna score. Scopatulo fires a shot off of the pad, and that one finds the back of the net as Sexton's gonna get the goal there.
Yeah,
So,
Lynn winning a puck battle off on the wall on the near side, and Scopatulo makes a nice move and shakes the defender and cuts to the net, just puts it off the pad, and a loose puck in front, and Sexton finds it. Lynn up 1-0.
and there's still plenty of time in this game, and if you're the Mocs, you honestly are feeling pretty good about your game. You've had good passing plays, and Lynn's just done a good job defensively getting sticks in the lane and keeping pucks out of the net. As Wyden had to step back because that was offsides. Tried to chase the puck in. And that one's sent down the ice by Lynn. No icing. Petterlin does a good job angling Sexton off the puck, but Lynn does come away with it now as Sexton has it. 44 seconds left to go. Roca sends it around the boards. That one's shot by Haley, and that one goes out wide. Marshall with a big hit on Scopatulo behind as he knocks him off the puck. Haley now sends it around the boards as Marshall's just there waiting for it. Sexton lays a check into Marshall. And now Marshall's skating it up. He hits Wyden. Wyden skating it down low. Going around the boards, looking for someone there. Petterlin, he fires. That one looks like it caught a Lynn defender and just went out wide. 13 seconds left here in the first period. Petterlin passes it back to Catazone. Catazone sends it up to Izzo, and that one's going to bounce off of the stick of Izzo and up into the Lynn bench. Up near the coaches as they all kind of duck down. So 4.2, so not likely we see another scoring opportunity as this faceoff is just going to head to center ice as Kaplan and Marshall will slide in for this faceoff. As they win that one, and that will do it for the first period here as Lynn has a 1-0 lead. Noah, what did you like from both sides in this first period?
I thought both teams, like I said earlier, were moving their feet. They're both getting their chances, and Lynn just finding a bounce, and as a result, they're up 1-0. And yeah, Florida Southern, they just got to keep going, getting their opportunities. Although I am seeing a lot of the same guys out on the ice a lot, so we'll have to keep an eye out if these guys start getting tired. It's a long hockey game, and maybe they're going to have to look to some of their other players to step up as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, high danger chances for both sides, and the Mocs are just going to have to keep this pace of play and keep those guys rested, but keep the lines moving, keep the passing going. We saw it on their power plays. They've had good opportunities. They just need to find a way to get those bounces into the back of the net. So we'll be back in 15 minutes for the second period. Lynn leading the Mocs 1-0 here at the Lakeland Ice Arena. We'll step away, and we'll bring you the second period when we come back. And welcome back for the second period here at Lakeland Ice Arena with Lynn leading the Florida Southern Mocs 1-0, but still plenty of time for the Mocs. 40 minutes left of hockey. No, what are you looking for the Mocs in this period to get on the board?
Yeah, and we're looking at this line, this forward line out here for Florida Southern. Marshall, Izzo, and Wyden. They've gotten their chances in the first period. I'm looking to them to finally break through and convert, at least on one of the many opportunities that they've gotten.
As Mocs win the opening face-off. And that one looks like it went up into the netting. So an early whistle. So face-off comes outside of the Fighting Knights zone. Marshall slides in for that one. Lynn wins that face-off. They'll send the puck around, but Catazone was able to get in the way there. So Maury with the puck in the neutral zone. Izzo forcing a turnover. He has the puck. He'll send it in. Maury's back there for it. He chips it up the boards. That's going to go the length of the ice, but Morel gets there. Anochi fires that one in on Simone, and he just blockers that one away. A good job by Lattice there, forcing a turnover for the Fighting Knights, but just nothing coming for that. Catazone able to knock the Knight off the puck, and that one's going to go down. Marshall skating after it. He gets there first, makes a cutback move, sends it in front, rolls in on Dickinson. Not able to get a stick on it there was Wyden. That one's back into the mock zone. Nochi had it, and we're going to get a whistle.
I believe the net was knocked off again. That net not staying in its moorings.
So yeah, both teams able to change. Typically when it comes off and a defensive player knocks it off, you can't get a change, but because it just came off, looks like naturally, both sides are able to get a change here. As Constant and Marshall slide in for this face-off. Marshall wins it, sends it around the boards to Wyden, and he'll move it up with some speed. Just outside, he got a little too much on it there, and now Izzo skating it in. Constant with some pressure. Izzo gets down low, tries to send it in front for Burkhart, and Dickinson just able to get the cover there.
Yeah, that was a nice controlled breakout, or kind of a set play on the defensive zone win for Florida Southern. Goes back to Marshall, and he just fires it around the boards wide and just streaking. The puck got away from him a little bit, but Izzo was able to catch up to it, and they'll get an offensive zone draw now.
That puck's dropped. Southern wins it back to Burkhart. Burkhart with a quick shot, bounces off a few sticks and goes wide. Caden Williams trying to chip it out in front, can't. Now Rice is chasing down after Diduck. Goes back in, Burkhart sends it around the boards, comes out to the blue line for Haley. He fires a shot, that one goes above the net, and that one comes out. So Lynn's gonna have to touch up. Constant, a little slow to get up there.
Yeah, we're gonna get a penalty here. Looks like it's on Burkhart for a cross check.
Yeah, Burkhart's headed to the box, and you mentioned it. Cross checking is gonna be the call.
Yeah, and there's something behind the play that, again, you don't want to see for Florida Southern, for a Florida Southern fan.
Yeah, so this is a big penalty kill. You know, you're down 1-0, and this game yesterday, the second period, is where we saw most of the goals happen. And if you're the Mocs, you want to get a good kill here early, because Maury wins it, has it back, shot wide by Morel, and Simonian with the glove closing it up.
It was going wide, but he's like, I'll just get a whistle here. We'll go again.
Now, Simonian, we saw him yesterday having a little fun during yesterday's game, scoring a little unofficial goalie goal, a little game of pass back and forth with Galgani. But Maury has it. Shot, that one got blocked by Williams. Knights tried to get down low. They shoot. Simonian gets a, not quite sure, looks like the blocker on that, and that one goes wide. And now Hunter Rice is skating it up. He's shorthanded. He was just trying to get it cleared, and he's still on the forecheck as Maury's going to send it up to Morrell. Morrell to Constant. And now Rice and Constant collide. Now Dowdy has the puck down low. Send out to Maury at the blue line. Maury gets it back to Lattice. Lattice down to Constant, just over his stick. Now Morrell has it. Morrell kicks it to Lattice. Lattice kicks it to Dowdy. Good stick there by Hunter Rice, just not allowing a shot there. As Dowdy's gonna send it further in. Now Constant. He's checked big by Donnelly, and that's gonna be a penalty. So empty net, 6 extra skater on, and we're gonna get the whistle as another cross-checking penalty against the Mocs.
Yeah, that was just kind of a dangerous play there. A few feet off the boards, and Donnelly gets a stick right in the back of, I believe it was Constant. He goes into the boards hard. He's all right, though. And the Mocs with a 5-on-3 penalty kill.
Yeah, so 46 seconds left on that first penalty as this puck will get dropped in. Big kill here. Lynn wins it. Judge along the blue line. Kicks her across to Dixon. Dixon down low. Dixon back in the middle. Gets it to Judge. Judge with the trying to get a one-timer going, but Simonian read that. And now Marshall's out there. He's battling. He'll send the puck into the Lynn Fighting Knights zone. Doing a good job there, just getting it clear.
Yeah, and I think on this entire penalty kill, even when they had 4 guys, if the puck was going towards the middle of the ice, Mocs were collapsing in on the puck, not letting Lynn get any chances if they were in the slot.
And Dixon fires. That one goes wide. 2 seconds on that first penalty, so it's killed. And they've got a guy sprung. And now Petterlin switched it over. He's out on the ice, and now Dixon back there. And now Quinn Judge skating it up with speed. So Mocs do kill off 1. There's still 5-on-4, though, with a minute left to go. Quick shot there by Judge. Got slowed down by a stick of the Mocs. Tried to kick it across was Scopatulo to Judge, but once again caught a stick. And Kazan loses his stick there as Haley was down low. Big presence in front of the net. Scopatulo blows a tire. Petterlin now has it with his brother Greg. So Brad and Greg moving it up. Brad tried to tip it up to Greg and just wasn't able to get it where he wanted it. Greg sends it back to Catazone.
I think Petterlin is kind of on the tail end of a longer shift. Didn't quite have the legs under him to get going on that 2-on-1.
But a good job by the Mocs here on this PK as there's only 10 seconds left. So this will be the last rush for Lynn as Kaplan's skating it up. He's got speed. He gets down behind. Still looking for a lane. And that'll do it for both penalties. Mocs do a good job killing the 5-on-3. And now Marshall, 1-on-1, shoots, and a good save by Dickinson as Marshall just trying to get it over the pad and just could not get it up enough.
Yeah, and that breakaway caused by a bouncing puck just hopped over the stick of Haley and Marshall. In alone on the breakaway, Dixon. Beautiful pad stop. Way to track that shot there from Marshall.
And the Mocs are still with the pressure now as Izzo got it up to Rice and now battle on the boards. Rice is still there battling. Ultimately passes it out. Comes out to Burkhart. Burkhart kicks it back to Mullins. And Sexton tried to dump it in the zone, but Burkhart makes a good play. Doesn't allow that. We almost haven't had a whistle in 3 minutes, so a good pace of play here in the second period. As Len has it at the blue line, a shot by Haley. More looked like a pass as he's potentially trying to find Andre for a redirection. Just wasn't able to find it. Hit there by Burkhart. Puck bounces off of the ref. Stays in the Mock zone. A good job by the Mocs getting a final clear. And Len not able to touch the puck there as it was offside, but Stebbins and Sexton circle back around. Andre keeps it in the zone. Tries to center it off of Burkhart. So no centering attempt. Rice skates it up. Izzo and Dubois with him, and that one's going to be whistled down for offsides.
Yeah, Rice made a move at the blue line, and that caused Izzo to be offsides. He's got to get right across that blue line, and then he can make that move.
And it's an example of getting too fancy with the puck. You get too fancy, and sometimes it just doesn't go the way you planned, and in that moment it drew an offside. Hockey can be a complicated game, but sometimes you just got to bring it back to a schoolyard, and, well, I guess you're not playing hockey at the schoolyard, but you know what I mean. Back to street hockey. As Lynn has the puck, Diduck braces for a hit, delivers a reverse hit on Charles Sutton. Mock lost a stick, that was Dubois. Puck out in front, Simonian trying to cover, doesn't get the cover. Someone's lost a glove and hit along the board there. Puck does come out. Simonian kicks that glove that was on the ice into his goal, so getting it out of his way. That one's sent in by the Knights. Donnelly's racing Morey for it. Now Diduck has it. He tries to send it back in deep, does to Constant. Constant to Urim. Urim, a shot goes off of a skate of a Mock. Now Bradley Petterlin, he'll dump that one in. Getting a change are the Mocks on that dump in. Morey skating it up. He's got some speed. He goes on Sutton. He makes a good deke there. And Urim had the puck on his stick. A good pass potentially there by Morey, but just over the stick. And now a 2-on-1, 3-on-1. Over to Petterlin, bouncing puck, just doesn't get enough, and he fans on the shot. A good opportunity there by the Mock, and now a 2-on-1 the other way. Merrill, he's in. Netting comes off. Simonian knocked it off, but he ultimately kept Morrell wide. What did you like there from Simonian on that save?
Yeah, just very nice left to right movement. You know, he read Morrell in the whole way, and as he made a move to the left, finally got that final push off to keep up with that puck. And yeah, again, a really nice save there from Simonian. And then, yeah, back the other way as well, right off the defensive stop there for Lynn. The Mocs unable to convert on a 2-on-1, a great opportunity that turned into a 3-on-1. You don't get a shot off. You have to get a shot off there if you're the Mocs.
Yeah, so Mocs weren't able to change after Simonian simply just caught his leg on the post, and that's unfortunate because that goal's come off a couple times, you know, and maybe that doesn't come off if it hasn't already popped up 4 other times, and that didn't allow the Mocs to change. So some tired Mocs out there. As Lattice skating it up, Petterling connects with him. Lattice just kept going, and then he runs into a catazone. So obviously, with some speed coming along the boards, you're going to make some contact, and Simonian's going to get a cover there with 11:19 left to go here in the second period.
Yeah, on that last shot, the puck's got to get out. It's right near the blue line, and Mock's not quite getting all of that on that clear. Those are the little things. It's called the 5-foot rule, the 5 feet inside the blue line. If it's somewhere in there and you have the puck, you got to get it out.
A quick shot there as the Mocs won that face-off, but just left it sitting there for a Lynn player who took a backhanded shot, and Simonian just gloves that one up. So another face-off. Rice sliding in for this one. Puck's drop. Mocs win that one back. Petterlin sends it around the boards. Izzo chips it back, turns it the other way, drops it for Petterlin. And that one flipped back up off of the stick of a forechecking Dowdy for Lynn, as Kensler is now back there. Quick shot off of Simonian's shoulder. It looks like he got another save getting it off the glove there as Lynn's putting some pressure on as Kaplan gets it to Dixon. Dixon back to Kaplan. Kaplan across to Colmier. Shot, that one goes wide. Simonian was looking for it with his glove. Back to the blue line for Dixon. A shot, Simonian makes the initial save, and Izzo's there. And he's trying to get the puck out, but had it knocked off his stick, so still in the zone for Lynn. Dowdy passed it to Kaplan. Kaplan took a sharp angled shot, and that one just went off the side of the net. Dixon kicks it across to Colmier. Colmier tries a shot, blocked off of a Mock, and he takes a big hit. battle on the boards there as Mocs are looking to get it out of their zone. Izzo tries to get it out, and Judge tried to make a move, but ultimately some good dedication there, keeps it in the zone after taking a spill.
Lots of tired Mocs out here.
And you're looking for a save or just a cover from Simonian potentially to get a breather if you can't get a clear.
Yeah, but also at the same time, the Mocs had maybe 3 or 4 opportunities to clear the puck and try to make a move or just trying to get fancy with it like we talked about earlier. They just need to keep things simple.
And Catazone will get that one out. Finally, so some tired Mocs are going to get off of the ice, and Catazone collided with Dowdy there.
I think the official's going to call that.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get a call for that. And Petterlin and Andre are talking. And Catazone's going to the box. So we mentioned it. Those are those penalties that you can't take. So Catazone's headed to the box.
Yeah, again, we didn't quite see what happened because it was behind the play. But yeah, like you mentioned, not the smartest penalty to take if you're Catazone.
Yeah, and the Mocs have just got to clean this game up. I mean, they've just spent nearly 2 minutes in their zone, and now they give Lynn a power play.
Thankfully, some fresh legs out there. So these guys should be able to have their legs under them.
As Lynn wins that faceoff, Morales sends it around the board. Hit into the boards there, but Caden Williams does a good job getting a stick, and he'll just settle that one down. Tried to send it the length of the ice, but a good job by Lattice there for Lynn, keeping it from going the length of the ice. Now Lattice with the puck, he shoots. A good block by Donnelly. Caden Williams making some plays, does get it out to neutral ice, forcing Lynn to reset.
Yeah, he's had a couple of opportunities to clear it all the way down the ice, hasn't quite gotten there, but at least getting the puck out.
Yeah, and you just want to kill a couple seconds. Obviously getting it down the ice is the goal, but shot by Morel. That one goes wide, and he's going to do it himself. He'll clear it down the ice, and Maury's going to have to skate back for it. So one of those unorthodox passes we talked about yesterday.
Yeah, and if you're Merrill and Lynn, those are the kind of shots you don't want to have where you're missing the net and clearing the puck for your team.
And now the puck is cleared, and Marshall on the breakaway. Morel trying to get back. He shoots. A save by Dixon. So some good opportunities for Marshall, short-handed there. And Merrill's now in. Wyden's back out there. It's been a couple shifts since we've seen Wyden out on the ice. A shot there by Merrill. He's had a couple shots here in this power play. 2 on goal. As Mullins is battling for that puck. Now Marshall down low. Puck sent out to Merrill, who's a shooting threat. He does shoot. That one's blocked. Another shot. Saved by Simonian. 2 big saves, and now Marshall turning it up the other way. It's just him and the goalie and Morel. He gets forechecked, and he'll slide into the net. And there's a little tussle going between Marshall and Dixon there. And they're going to call that one a goal. So
I guess the puck went in.
Florida Southern scores shorthanded.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I didn't see the puck go into the net. Maybe it was knocked in after Marshall collided with Dixon, but
yeah, I'm not really too sure. And the refs are going over to explain it.
Yeah, Merrill was on the back check there, and he knocked Will down into Dixon. And usually, if it's the defending team that causes maybe the net to go off or causes interference with the goaltender, usually the offensive side's going to get the benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah, and we saw that there as Mox went over and celebrated. A little bit of a delayed call. You know, I saw the ref, and I saw him put his arm up, but I was like, we'll wait and see what happens. And he ultimately calls it a goal, and Lynn doesn't seem too happy with that one. But Mox fans here and watching online are pretty excited, as that was a shorthanded goal registered. And there's still 6 seconds left on the power play. So Will Marshall mentioned it, dangerous shorthanded, Noah. And what do you need to see from the Mocs to now take the lead?
Hey, they just got to keep going. Now they have all the momentum. Obviously now the penalty's over, and they just got to keep putting the pressure on. They've got a little bit of pressure, and they're getting a lot of chances here right now too.
And I don't know if you can hear it, but the goal called in the rink by former Mock player Paul Rigolini, because he's on PA here today at Lakeland Ice Arena. And the fans cheering as that Will Marshall goal was announced.
Yeah, good on Marshall too. That was his second breakaway in that single penalty kill. And I can tell he was getting a little bit frustrated not getting the conversion on a few of his chances, but I'm sure he's excited to finally have that one go.
Yeah, and now you're seeing the jump and the step of the Mocs. Chase Stebbins takes a shot there, and Simonian makes a save there. A big hit there on Rice by Kaplan. Judge makes a move, has it knocked off his stick. And now Caden Williams kicks it up to Petterlin. Petterlin tried to get it back to Williams. That one's dropped back for Catazone, and he takes a hit by Kaplan. Kaplan's getting a little more physical as this game goes on. He gets another physical play, and that one is going to draw a penalty. Can't do that in the back of the play. So Kaplan.
We're seeing a couple different things. Kaplan on Catazone, and then there's something going on in the far corner with Rice and looks like Haley.
So looks like
I think
I'm
Rice
not
is
sure,
tossed.
but Rice is tossed, and you know, you kind of had to expect that. You can't drop the gloves here in college hockey. So we'll get this sorted out, but Kaplan's going to the box for looked like roughing.
Roughing, maybe interference or a trip.
A couple different ways that could go, you know.
We saw Catazone fall on the near side right by us.
So refs are talking it over with the scorers table, getting this sorted out, and looks like we're seeing Haley go to the box. So that Rice play potentially will cancel each other out. You know, Rice is off the ice.
Yeah, and like you said, Rice was ejected most likely because he did drop the gloves. His gloves were on the ice. And, yeah, like you said, they don't fight in this league.
Yeah, this isn't the NHL, and that'll either be a game misconduct or it definitely probably a DQ, because we mentioned it, fighting doesn't happen here. So we're waiting. We'll see what the calls are. There's definitely 2 minutes on Kaplan for potentially roughing.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to just those last minute or two after the Florida Southern goal. Lynn was keeping their spirits up. Anytime there was a hit, you'd see their bench just staying vocal, staying loud, and, you know, they got under the skin of Florida Southern. Obviously, Hunter Rice now out of the game. And Florida Southern needs to respond back with that.
Yeah, and the Mocs were doing a good job after getting that goal with the pressure and just fine. And honestly, I saw some of their best opportunities after the momentum of that goal. It got the bench excited, got them back into this. It's tied, and they were putting a lot more pressure on Lynn. So looks like we're just going to see the 2 minutes up on the board for Kaplan. So Mocs will probably still have the power play. With 5:44 left to go. So this is a good sign of the Mocs. You know, you get a shorthanded goal, and now you get the opportunity to have your power play go out there and potentially take the lead.
Yeah, and all the top guys out there for Florida Southern.
Yeah, so it looks like the Rice and Haley penalties are going to negate each other, and the Kaplan is going to be in the box. And now Burkhart has it at the blue line. He gets it to Marshall, who's the goal scorer in this one for the Mocs. Burkhart with a shot. That one's up, saved by Dixon and up into the netting.
Yeah, I believe he's looking for the deflection in front from Izzo. We had seen a couple of goals off of that sequence of passes. Marshall getting it up at the point over to Burkhart, and he kind of drifts down the wall, and he's got a hard shot. He'll get it on net and just tries to find some sort of bounce in front.
Mox win that one. Burkhart gets it to Marshall. Marshall making a play at the blue line. He gets it down to Wyden. Back to Marshall. Marshall shoots. That one's blocked by a Lynn player. He gets it back to Burkhart. Burkhart with a shot. That one catches a few bodies in front. Marshall with a shot. That one off of Dixon goes wide. So a couple good shots here by Florida Southern on this power play so far. Burkhart with a shot. Izzo trying to get the redirection. Can't quite get it on there. Marshall battling for it down low, and that one's going to be cleared right onto Simonian. Simonian sets it up for Wyden.
Yeah, lots of great chances there, but on that clear,
Izzo does a good job getting onside with the puck there. Marshall now with it. He passes it to Catazone. Catazone fires, and that one just goes over the top. Lynn trying to get the clear there and can't. Still battling down low, trying to get it out of their own zone. Catazone's going to skate into it, send it up to the blue line, where ultimately Burkhart does a great job keeping the puck inside the blue line. Now Izzo on the other side. Back down low to Marshall. Marshall back up to the blue line. Widen over to Burkhart. Burkhart a shot, looks like a pass there to Catazone as he was trying to get the redirection. Catazone keeps it in. Good job by the Mocs here, keeping this in the zone as that one rolls up to Burkhart at the blue line. Burkhart keeps it in. Marshall has it. Marshall passes it across. Shot! Dixon was down and out. Makes that save. And we'll get a whistle. And now a little pushing and shoving there. Marshall's just headed back to the bench, and that was Nochi pushing up on him. So they're going to send them both to their respective benches. So a little line change for the Mocs. 19 seconds left to go on the power play. 4:02 left here in the second period at Lakeland Ice Arena. And this period's had a little bit of everything you could want. Physicality, goal scoring. It's all you could ask for.
Yeah, for the most part, it's been a nice, clean game. And, looking back at this power play, really nice opportunities for Florida Southern.
As Lynn gets the final clear, Simonian comes out with that with Stebbins putting on the pressure. Simonian's made him look foolish. And Stebbins is still after it. Stebbins gets a hit, and that's going to kill off Kaplan's penalty. 3:37 left to go. Mocs get a turnover, and they're going to whistle that down for a hand pass. 3:35, so Lynn kills off that penalty. Does a good job not giving up a goal. Stebbins did come down the ice and almost took the puck from Simonian. A pretty dangerous play there for the Mocs, but Simonian able to find a teammate. A little bit of a broken play, but ultimately able to keep the puck out of the back of the net. I apologize for the scoreboard as it's a little glitchy. And a big hit there by Cole Dubois. That came out to Lattice. Lattice to Maury. Maury with a shot, and Simonian able to make a save there and cover that one up.
Yeah, that puck was going wide, and it was deflected. Almost looked like it was looking to sneak through the 5-hole of Simonian, but he covers the wickets and covers up.
So 3:15 left to go here in the second period. As Maury now has it for Lynn. Back to Dixon. Shot in on Simonian and was a little bit loose there, and Simonian ultimately able to cover that one up, stopping it with 3:07 left to go.
Yeah, and Catazone able to box out Drew Constant there in front, not letting him get another whack at that puck, and gave him the opportunity to find it and cover up.
So Florida Southern so far a good job in this game, keeping the scoring much tighter than yesterday, getting one on the board shorthanded.
Yeah, this is what we expected out of these two teams in this matchup. Obviously yesterday was a little bit penalty filled, and a lot of bounces were going Lynn's way and not as much in Florida Southern's direction. But we're seeing a great matchup here on Sunday afternoon.
And it's any given day here in the ACHA. It night and day difference between teams, and you just never know what you're going to see.
Yeah, and we've seen that out of this Florida Southern team, not even just this year, but in previous years. The turnarounds from one day to the next.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. You wanted to see compete level out of them yesterday, Noah, and they're showing that today.
Absolutely.
They've done a much better job battling for pucks is now Oaken's out there, and that one's won by him. So good job in the faceoff circle. Burkhart fires it in, and Oaken was going over the wall there as that puck potentially got stopped by him, and I don't think he even knew.
Yeah, but it was good on, I'm not sure who changed for him, but he stayed on the bench and prevented a too many men penalty. But yeah, Oaken broke his stick and was trying to get back to the bench just so someone with the stick could get out on the ice.
Yeah, and Len Bench calling for a penalty. I'm not quite sure what they were looking for. I looked like there was some contact up along the far boards, but it was both sides. Shot there goes wide. With 2 minutes left to go here. As now Mocs are trying to move it up, but Kaplan does a good job negating that and sends it back for Roca, who's going to spin it around to Haley. Haley sends it up the boards, and Judge takes a big hit by Petterlin. And Judge was trying to get it deep, but it caught off the line Judge there. And now we're going to get a penalty call for boarding. So it looks like Petterlin will be headed to the box. Trailing the line Judge called that one. And Petterlin definitely brings the physical aspect to his game. But there's a fine line, and I mentioned it yesterday, between physical and a penalty. They both start with P, but you gotta find a way to separate the two. And Petterlin's walking that line too finely.
Yeah, and that's a tough, that's a fine line to walk across, right? And Petterlin, he hits hard, and we all know that. And Judge just a little bit smaller than him, but you got to watch on those hits. Those can be dangerous at times. And yeah, the official thought that it was a little bit off of the board, so gave him the boarding penalty.
Yeah, and that official's been pretty consistent with his calls all game. So you've got to know what the officials are calling, and they're going to call that every time. So maybe a conversation in the locker room about keeping the game a little bit more clean as that one ends up in the netting once again. So
yeah, and the purpose there, just to take in the body, there's, just separating the man from the puck, but then, with these, the college age kids, they're trying to, whoever they're hitting, they're trying to blow them up. And yeah, you just got to be mindful of when you're going in for those hits.
And it's so much, you always see big hits on social media, but you don't see the fundamental plays, and Lynn's going to take advantage of that, and they just get that one in between the pads of Simonians, so they'll score. Lynn with 1:08 left in the period. That will let Petterlin come out of the box, and that's what we talked about. You can't be physical because it puts your team at a disadvantage, and Lynn's a team that will take advantage of that.
Yeah, and looking back at that goal, Maury just getting a quick shot on net. He cut across the middle of the ice, moving right and shot back towards the left, and I think Simonian had a bit of a screen in front of him and just found a small hole right above the pad below the blocker. And yeah, Lynn leads 2-1.
So Mocs win the faceoff after giving up that goal. Sexton sends it up, almost takes out two of the refs. They both duck for their lives. I can't imagine being out there and seeing that coming at you. But Petterlin down low takes a hit from Haley. Burkhart able to keep it in as Scopatullo was trying to chip it around him. Burkhart's done a good job for the Mocs sealing the blue line and not allowing pucks past him in this game. And ref's arm goes up for icing. Donnelly's skating back for it, and they will get the whistle with 30.6 to go here. So that one's going to come down into the Fighting Knight zone to the left of Dixon. And you're the Mocs, you're looking for quick shots, trying to just tie this one up. Goals have been hard to come by from both goaltenders, and the Mocs have had good opportunities, but it's not every day you get a short-handed goal, so you need to work 5-on-5 as a team to get this puck in the back of the net.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, they're getting their chances. It's just a matter of being in the right position, and those bounces are going to go your way.
Yeah, as they're working down low, kept in the zone by Petterlin. He sent it around to Marshall, who's trying to get his stick free, and he sends it to Petterlin back to Catazone at the point. Catazone shoots, blocked by a Fighting Knight. As William Sexton was able to get there. Caden Williams fires a sharp angled shot. And that is going to do it here for the second period. So Lynn, a late goal on the power play after a boarding call against Petterlin. And so both teams will head off, regroup, try to figure out how to get back on top in this game as we head into the third period. No, what do you need to see from the Mocs to get back into it?
I think they're playing a solid game right now. And the one thing that is hurting them is those couple of penalties. Obviously, Lynn with the power play goal there towards the end of the period. They just got to keep things clean. For the most part, it's been clean, but it's crossed the line a couple of times here in the second. So they just got to clean things up, stay out of the box.
Yeah, it looks like a little conversation going on the bench between some of the teammates trying to keep the momentum up, keep the legs moving, and just let them know they're still in this one. This game's far from over, but we will step away and we will be back for the third period with the Mocs trailing Lynn 2-1. and welcome back to the third period here at Lakeland Ice Arena. Lynn University has a 2-1 lead, headed into the final period, 20 minutes left to play, and it's been a treat. There's been a little physicality on both sides, some good goal scoring, but Noah, what are you looking for from the Mocs to get back into this one after giving up that late power play goal?
Yeah, I think this Mocs team right now is in the right mindset of just moving on to the next play. They're playing well. They're moving their feet. They're staying physical, and they just need to stick with it. I mentioned before, the bounces are eventually going to go their way if they keep up with the way that they're playing.
So hopefully the 15 minutes in the locker room, they had a chance to get a break. Both teams ready to go. Mocs fired up coming out of the break as Marshall has the puck. He fires it backhand in on Dixon, and he'll get a cover. So we'll see that face-off come to the left of Dixon as he gets a glove save there on Marshall. Marshall in the face-off dot. Wins that puck. He fires it across the crease, but nothing there. Petterlin firing that one in. Now Poirier. Petterlin and Poirier colliding right in front of the ref there. And now Marshall has Poirier, and Poirier hits the ice hard as him and Marshall collide, and Marshall's gonna head over to the bench. Wyden tried to get this puck on his stick there, but ran into Dowdy and lost it. And now almost got a turnover as Quinn Judge, just a little mishandle there.
Yeah, it looked like the ice a little bit wet in that corner on the right side.
And that puck bounced in front as Maury tried to center it up. And a turnover, Dowdy shoots and got tangled up in some Mocs, and now Izzo sends it out to center ice. Because that's Cabral, he fires it. Dixon just uses a stick, sends that one wide. Kaplan had the puck knocked off his stick by Dubois. Cabral running in there. And Petterlin gets sandwiched there, a little hit there on Petterlin by Dyduk behind the play. Poirier sends it up. Now Burkhart sending it off the neutral zone boards, and that one comes to a Fighting Knight. Goes out wide, now Constant has it. He's skating it into the zone. He tries to center it, does get a center. Urim tried to keep it moving, set up another Fighting Knight, but ultimately couldn't. And Mocs will clear that one down as Dubois. No icing as it caught the stick of Haley.
Seen a little bit of extra pushing and shoving from both teams, but the officials letting them play, not letting anything get too out of hand. Obviously, if they see something egregious, they'll call it. But they're letting the teams remain physical.
As now Haley had the puck, he sends it around. Trying to get it into Constant in the middle was Nochi. Morrell has it back to the blue line for Haley. Haley a quick shot, that one goes wide. That's a powerful slap shot, but power doesn't always combine with accuracy, as we saw right there. As that one comes out to the point, Roca has it. He tries to backhand it in, and a good job there by Burkhart reading that. He'll flip it up, and that one's going to be played by a high stick on Roca. They touch it, and we'll get a whistle.
That was really smart from Bradley Petterlin. Kind of let Lynn touch the puck so the Mocs will get a offensive zone face-off.
Yeah, so 17 to go here in the game, and face-off coming to the right of Dixon. Wyden, Marshall, Izzo out there, that top line, along with the defensive pair of Catazone and Petterlin out there. So looking to generate offense for sure. Mocs fired that one in, and Dixon gets a cover.
It's a nice slick little move there from Marshall off the draw, pushing it forward to himself and tried to sneak that puck in the 5-hole of Dixon.
And we mentioned it, he was getting frustrated, but he finally got that goal in the last period. And ever since then, you can see a little more jump in his game. And, you know, you go on a little dry spell and it's frustrating, but he's doing a good job as he takes another shot there. a similar move. Now Izzo has it. He tries to wrap it around in front. Puck's still loose, and we're gonna get a fight. Puck ended up in the net there, but we're gonna get some hands. So puck's in the back of the net. Not sure if it was covered. So face-off is gonna. Looks like puck didn't go in the net. After the whistle was blown, and then the puck ended up in the net. So we're not quite sure what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't know if they're taking anybody.
Doesn't look like it, as it didn't really get too crazy, as Marshall's has his gloves and stick on the ice, but I think he just took them off and was looking to reset, you know. But he'll slide over, and looks like he might be going to the box. No, Marshall's just going for a change, so yeah, no penalty, face-off coming outside of the Fighting Knight zone.
Yeah, and just a lot of physical play there right in front of Dixon. Marshall, again, off that draw, right before all of that, pushed it forward and got the puck towards the net, and Mox just kept putting it to the front, and lots of opportunities to poke away at that puck, with Dixon staying strong, as well as the Lynn defense.
And a big hit there by Sexton on Caden Williams. They both go down to the ice. Now Sexton's up in the play. Shot there by Dixon. Scopatulo fires that one, and off of his stick. Looks like a Lynn player caught the stick there and bounced that one up into the netting. So a little break is both lines get a change. Looks like Marshall potentially had a helmet issue. Looks like he's still working on that over there on the bench for the Mocs. Cabral is in for the draw. Lynn wins it. Dixon now with the puck skating along the blue line. He fires a pass to Quinn Judge. That one shot. That one off of Simonian and took a weird bounce, came down in front for Kaplan. Dixon tries to get a pass to Judge again. Judge tried to center it for Dowdy, but couldn't get a stick on it. It comes out to Kaplan, who dumps it down, trying to ring it around the boards. Judge collides with that one as Mullins is there. Mullins gets it up to Williams. That one is going to go the length of the ice, and we're going to get an icing as Mullins tried to get to Williams, and Williams just couldn't get a stick on it, and that one went the length of the ice. So no change for the Mocs. As this faceoff comes to the right.
Yeah, and on that last sequence, you're looking for some sort of connection out of the zone. That pass just a little bit ahead of Williams, and Lynn remains with possession in the offensive zone.
Yeah, Mullen's a new addition to the roster, so it's just going to take some time to get the chemistry and learn the pace of each other. And that's some of the things that the Mocs are working on this year, is just figuring out new lines with some of the new additions that they've added in the offseason. As puck got tied up there, and looks like Dubois. And now Mullins had the puck in the zone. He took a big hit, kept in by Walter. Walter takes a spill there. Judge skating it up. He drops it back. Tried to do a nifty move, and that's an example of getting too fancy and then not working out. As Mox got the clear there. And that one's sent down the ice by Colmere. No icing. Icing was waved off. Simonian had the arm up, but the refs waved it off.
That was smart on Lynn. The Lynn player threw the puck towards the Mocs bench as they were changing, trying to get one of those oncoming players to touch the puck and look for a too many men call.
And a big hit there by Petterlin on Lattice. No arm goes up. That was a clean hit. And now to try to get it up to Bradley Petterlin. Nothing doing there, but Will Gibson forces a turnover. Kept in the zone by Walter for a minute. And now Lynn's going to skate it up the other way. Stebbins. Lattice skating it in, pressured by Burkhardt and Petterlin, and a good hit there by Petterlin. And we're going to arm up. This looks like a penalty against the Mocs. Looks like Petterlin will get called with
a head contact.
55. And I don't necessarily agree with the call, but there's a reason I'm up here, they're down there, and I think both players probably could have gone there.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a 2 and 10. He's also given an unsportsmanlike conduct.
So yeah, that's going to be 7 minutes there, or excuse me, 4 minutes there on the power play for Lynn. And Petterlin's been a physical presence. We mentioned it all game, but that's not going to work if you're in the Mocs. So potentially looking like we're getting no, excuse me, I thought we were getting a timeout there, but no timeout called. This face-off back at center ice. Petterlin in the box. Mocs have a 4-minute penalty kill. Lynn wins that. We mentioned Lynn already put 1 power play goal to give them the lead in this one, as Maury scored that earlier. And now Marshall putting some pressure, shorthanded, trying to send it out in front. Judge with a good hit there, and another penalty against the Mocs, as that's going to be a cross check. And that one looks like it's going to be on Colton Wyden. So he puts his hands up, not a fan of that call.
Yeah, Marshall and Wyden fighting for that puck behind the Lynn goal. And yeah, Wyden caught one of the Lynn defenders in the lower back. Could argue maybe selling that a little bit, but you know, Wyden's a strong kid. And the Lynn player goes down and he'll go to the box. He'll sit for 2 minutes, and a full 2-minute 5-on-3 for Lynn.
And this is big for the Mocs to get this kill here if you want to stay into this game. Goals have been hard to come by, and we mentioned it. This is an opportunity where you can't let Lynn go up by 2 goals. So Lynn getting the cycle working. Kaplan back to Dixon. Dixon trying to get it low for Judge, and does. Judge surveying options, passes across to Kaplan. Kaplan likely didn't get enough on that one. Still inside the Mock zone. Kaplan up to the blue line to Judge. Sitting on that right faceoff circle. That one shot and off of a body and up into the netting for a whistle.
Yeah, it's a great kill so far for the Mocs. They're working on that rotating triangle. Marshall up high, but if it goes to his opposite side, Burkhart up top, and they're keeping everything to the outside. Judge, that shot not getting through. That's something you don't want if you're Lynn. You want to find a clear path to the net. And they're looking for those cross-ice passes too. And yeah, here's Marshall again.
And Marshall with some speed, shorthanded. Maury, and he scores! Will Marshall, shorthanded goal for the 2nd time this game. And he's talking to Lynn's bench as refs are telling him go down the handshake line. So shorthanded, Will Marshall takes advantage of a puck that bounces over the stick, and he's tied this one up. And if you're Lynn, that's demoralizing to give up 2 shorthanded goals to the same guy.
Yeah, and especially a 5-on-3, 2 men down. And Marshall putting on the pressure on the Lynn defender, and you know that just causes him to look up for a second, miss that puck, even if it was bobbling. But Marshall with the speed and all the pressure, and he makes no mistake on the breakaway. He's missed a couple within the last 2 days, and I think he's figured out Dixon here as he goes over the blocker.
And we mentioned it, his confidence is there, and he's back out there on the ice ready for more. So refs are talking it over. Looks like
Talking to the gentleman in the Lynn penalty box, it looked like.
Yeah, Lynn's got a full bench. So yesterday we mentioned that they had their starting goalie sitting over, or their backup goalie sitting in the penalty box yesterday.
Yeah, now he's got some room on the bench with his boys.
So giving up a goal as Marshall is able to take advantage of a turnover, and now Izzo has the puck and he'll send it down, and Marshall's going to race after it, but Dixon's going to come out and play it. And once again, PA announcer Paul Rigolini announcing the second goal for Will Marshall, and Burkhart getting the assist. And credit to Vincent Simonian is, you know, yesterday we mentioned he had an empty net goal in a little unofficial stat sheet, but just like that, Lynn responds. They've taken the lead. That'll end one of the penalties, it looks like. Should negate one of those penalties, they'll still have 2 minutes. So Lynn responding right back. And if you're the Mocs, you know, you scored 2 goals and you're still feeling pretty good about where you're at. You know, obviously you were down 5-on-3, and 5-on-5 goals are hard to come by in this game. So the Mocs are just going to have to figure out how to get the whole team involved and get passing set up to spring either Marshall to get one-on-one with Dixon or whatever it takes to find the puck in the back of the net, Noah.
Yeah, and obviously Marshall's taking a rest right now, but the other personnel out for the Mocs, Tommy Cabral, Caden Williams, they just need to have a tight defensive structure like they've been doing, keep everything to the outside, and get through this next 2 minutes, and then that's a little bit of momentum back in favor of Florida Southern, and then anything can happen from there.
So it looks like we're still going to see some time on one of the penalties, or both of the penalties. As Lynn trying to get another one there with the backdoor pass. Quinn Judge now settling it down, slowing it down. Shot, and Simonian saves it. So 4 seconds left to go as Marshall. Now I'm not too sure. One guy's got to step off as there's still 4 seconds left on one of the penalties and 1:43 on the other. As Dixon now has the puck. As Lynn skates it up. One player for the Mocs out of the box. Still 1:22 left on the 4-minute penalty to Petterlin. And that one's shot wide. That one's going to come down the ice.
Yeah, Lynn finding that cross-ice pass. That's something the Mocs need to take away. They need to stay structured in the middle of the ice, have sticks in the lanes, and prevent those chances.
So 10:50 left to go here in the third period. Lynn putting some pressure on the Mocs. Now Marshall with the puck, and he'll just flip that one the length of the ice onto Dixon. 10:39 left, 44 seconds left on the penalty kill. Bench trying to provide some pep to Will Marshall. A shot, that one goes wide. 10:23 left to go, 27 seconds on the power play for Lynn. Quick shot, and Simonian's going to get a cover there with 10:17 left to go.
Yeah, there's a nice play by Scapatulo. Getting to the middle of the ice and getting a low shot on goal. That could have slid through the 5-hole, but Simonian tracking that puck well. Lynn, a lot of momentum here on the power play, but 22 seconds left. Florida Southern, again, playing well on the penalty kill, but after this, they're going to want to stay out of the box.
Yeah, and with 10 minutes left, you can't spend a majority of that time in the box. So you mentioned it. Important to play a clean game as Dubois is able to chip that one out, make Lynn have to reset, and he'll go after the puck and ultimately gets there, and he'll chip that one into Lynn's zone. So a good job there by Cole Dubois. As another good play there, and good defensive plays by the Mocs as Mullins able to backhand that one down. That will kill the penalty, and icing is going to be the call. So as Petterlin jumped out of the box,
it just so happened that and Cole Dubois thought he was called for a penalty, didn't see that it was whistle for icing, so ref comes and tells him, hey man, you just gotta stay on the ice. You're not going into the box.
It's the second day in a row this has happened. Cabral thought he was in the box yesterday.
And so now both Pederlin brothers, Izzo, Dubois, and Catazone all out on the ice. Shot by Lynn, blocked by the Mocs. Izzo chips it out of the zone, and he'll switch off for a change. Catazone dumps it in. Dubois chasing after it. Dubois takes a big hit along the boards. Catazone dumps it back in towards Dubois, who was still on the ground. Pederlin tried to set it up, but like we mentioned, just a little bit of a broken play there as no one was able to get into the slot area. And that's the mindset you like to see from the Mocs. Noah is just getting the puck in front of the net.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it doesn't help if no one's there. You got to have guys going to the net, and maybe he just needs to take a half a second to get his eyes up and see that no one's there.
And there's been a couple times where we've seen a few communication issues where player goes to pass the puck and no one's quite there for it. And you can imagine we're going to see probably double shifts out of Will Marshall for the rest of the game as the Mocs try to get into this one.
Yeah, it's a close game here. The Mocs going to want their top firepower out on the ice.
So that one's sent in by Lynn, then sent back out. Bradley Pederlin chips it to Cabral. Cabral fires it in, and Marshall's calling for a change. So they'll get that change. Pederlin's still hounding around for the puck. Donnelly's out there with Burkhart on the defense pair. Donnelly hit into the boards. Sent around the boards, and now Pederlin has it at the Mocs blue line. He'll slow it down, and he'll just set it back there for Burkhart. Burkhart sends it in, and icing. That one just, Williams wasn't able to get a stick on it, and that one was right a little too sharply, so.
Yeah, the pass was a little bit in front of them. They need to connect on those passes and get into the zone, but because of a missed pass, it's an icing, and they've got a face-off in their own zone.
So yeah, obviously Mocs aren't as tired as they were on their last icing, so still relatively fresh legs out here as Lynn wins that face-off, dumps it down low into the center for Dowdy, and Dowdy had his stick tied up, and now Izzo's skating after it with Roca hounding him. It comes back for Pederlin. Pederlin fires it in the middle as Williams was tapping his stick, calling for a pass. And that's the communication we talked about. You need those little stick taps. It doesn't have to be verbal, but it just has to be some communication on the ice for the Mocs. And now Judge skates into it. And a good save by Simonian. And Donnelly did an excellent job there, cutting off an inside move.
Yeah, and Judge using that speed that he has to spring ahead. Got a nice shot off, but Simonian, a better save.
And Kaplan tried to do something similar. And then Dowdy fires a shot. That one goes wide. Judge spin around opportunity. Comes across to Kaplan. Kaplan for Dixon. Dixon back to Kaplan. Kaplan a quick shot, and Simonian tracking that one with the glove. With 6:55 left to go here.
Yeah, the Mocs are playing very well in front of Simonian. Very impressed with how they've played structurally in the defensive zone. They've kept everything to the outside. If Lynn would try to make a move to the middle, sticks are on sticks, and they're boxing out in front.
And now Lattice has the puck for the Fighting Knights. He tries to center it, goes off of a moccasin. And now Greg Pederlin out there with Cole Dubois, and Cole flips that one up into the bench. And normally I'd say that's a souvenir, but as a hockey player, you don't think of them like that. That's just part of the game.
Yeah, and they'll throw it right back out on the ice as they get a new one. I think that was Wyden tossing it off the bench. But that's the right idea there for the Mocs. Petterlin getting hard around the boards, Dubois getting to the wall as the winger. That's what you want to do as a winger. And it was the right idea, trying to chip it out, just unfortunately just bounce into the bench.
And Lynn able to keep the puck in the zone a little bit longer. And Marshall now with the puck. He'll spin around with it, getting up through the zone. And Marshall, after some nifty move, ultimately lost it. He shoots, that one goes wide. Petterlin chips it back around the boards. Marshall still in there on the puck, fires it, trying to get it into the middle of the ice. And ultimately can't. Simonian's going to play it up, but Constant there to intercept the pass. Now Constant has Morel behind him. Morel tries a sharp angled shot. And a great job there by Caden Williams, dropping down to one knee and blocking that shot.
Yeah, a 2-for-1, taking away the pass as well as taking away the shot there.
And another pass there, and that one just off of the stick of Morel. Couldn't get a shot away, and that was a dangerous opportunity. With 5:30 left to go here in the third period. That one's dumped out into the Lynn zone. So Mocs are going to have to start building some pushes together, and you have to wonder, do we see Simonian come out of the net in this one?
Yeah, we still got a few minutes here. Definitely, if the score remains, probably see him come out with in the 1 to 2 minute range, I would assume.
And now that one flipped up and out of the zone. Donnelly does a good job getting a stick there on Morel, but now it's Andre, and Simonian comes out for a save. But puck's still loose. A good block there by Donnelly. So Simonian comes out for a big save. Donnelly gets out and makes a big block on what was an empty net.
Yeah, Simonian, I think he was looking for the contact there, and Andre just trying to stay down as some of the Florida Southern players, rightfully so, gave him a little bit of a shove there, and the officials not calling anything, sticking with the play, just going forward. But yeah, it was a wild sequence there.
And you mentioned it, Andre, no stranger to contact in this game. And so Simonian going after him there, going after that puck, that's what you like to see from your goalie. A goalie who's not afraid to get out there and make a play. And while it could have been risky, the team backs it up. And we mentioned them playing really well against him, around him today. Now Burkhart flips that one out, and line change for the Mocs. Marshall's out there, and we'll likely see Marshall out there for the remaining 3:38. Maybe one more shift change, but Marshall will probably stay out there the whole time. As Andre skating it up, and Marshall got a stick in there, got him tripped up a little bit. Marshall with a shot, and then they score! Marshall gives it over to Petterlin, and it looks like Petterlin probably got a leg on it and put it in the back of the net. So we're tied up, 3:15 left to go, and looks like Petterlin's gonna get that one. So good job by Will Marshall getting the puck to the net. And I mentioned it, you get the puck to the net, good things happen.
Yeah, no matter what, that hit something on the way. I think it was Andre as he was defending, and puck just kind of bounces over. Petterlin just going to the net, and he stops on it. The puck just deflects off of his skate and into the net. Just like that, we're tied.
So 3:15 left to go, and both teams have had good opportunities in this period. And the Mocs have a lot of momentum after that goal. A little bit of pressure lightens up too. We talked about Simonian being pulled, and now you don't have to worry about that. As now Roca slowing it down. Dowdy skating it through the middle of the ice. Gets it around Williams. And drop back is Izzo, moves it up. And PA announcer Paul Regolini announcing the goal. Greg Petterlin had the puck bounce off of his stick, and now Catazone kicks it up to Izzo, who will send it up. No icing as he was just on the right side of the red line. Bradley Petterlin, who just scored the game-tying goal. So both Petterlin brothers get on the score sheet, and a broken stick and arm up by the ref. So it looks like a delayed penalty for potentially slashing is now at 6-on-5. Morrell loses it, and the Mocs will touch up, and that will be a whistle. So 1:56 left to go in this game. A penalty by the Mocs. Bradley Petterlin. Not really sure. Looks like they might have taken the call away. No, looks like Greg Petterlin is going to the box, and he's talking with the ref. But they don't, the refs make the call. They don't want to hear it. Greg's not happy about that. But
yeah, I think what we saw there on Petterlin was back checking. To be honest, he two-handed the Lynn player, and his stick broke on him. So, I mean, you slash the guy and your stick breaks. It's likely a slash.
Yeah, and they're gonna get that every time. But so Petterlin will sit. The Mocs will be shorthanded for the remainder of this game, and this is a big penalty kill. As timeout called here, looks like by Lynn as they're trying to draw up a play, looking to seal the deal here and come out with a win in regulation.
Yeah, and that would be a great way to end the semester off for them, as they're done until January after today, as their next game isn't until January 23rd. They'll travel to Jacksonville to take on Florida State on the road. Florida Southern back at it next weekend, Friday night here at Lakeland Ice Arena against UCF. That one will be at 10:15. We'll have it right here for you on the Southern Hockey Network. And UCF sweeping Miami this weekend. That's a huge weekend for them. A lot of momentum coming into next week as we'll get set to bring you the rest of this one here.
So Mocs on the penalty kill here for the remainder of this regulation with the game tied 3-3. And this is when the penalty kill is ultimately most important.
Yeah, you just got to keep your feet moving, keeping everything to the outside like I've mentioned a million times. And they're doing a great job of it right now.
Yeah, and they get that clear as that goes right in on Dixon. Looks like it was Marshall getting that clear. And I mentioned you'd probably stay on the ice for the remainder of the game, and we might see that even here on the – he's a big part of the power play, a big part of the penalty kill. So he'll be out here pretty much the remainder as Morrell fires that one, and that one goes up into the netting. So 1:25 left to go. Minute 30 on the penalty. So Constant sliding in against Marshall for the faceoff. Marshall wins that one, and we're getting a whistle. Looks like it wasn't. Not quite sure. Looks like one of the head refs said it wasn't dropped correctly. Throwing Constant out. I'm not quite sure why you threw Constant out when Mocs won the face-off there, but we got a whistle, and then that one flips up and into the netting, and Will Marshall's looking like he's wanting to delay a game call.
No, I think he's wanting the face-off to be outside because Merrill directly shot that out of play, but the official says no, they'll remain in the Mocs defensive zone.
So that one kept in barely by Dowdy. Dowdy sends it across to Lattice. Lattice shoots. That one goes wide, comes back around to Dowdy. Marshall trying to cut that one off, but it gets down to Merrill. Back to Constant down low. Quick shot, and Marshall just able to backhand that one all the way down on Dixon.
Yeah, it looked like Merrill had kind of a sharp angle there, but Simonian able to get over quickly. And Lynn likely one final rush here.
So 46 seconds to go. And if you're the Mocs, you're just trying to do exactly that as Izzo pokes the puck out to center ice, and now Lattice skating it up. Marshall trying to get a stick in on that. Lattice skating it around, looking for options. Has Maury at the blue line, still skating. Lattice down low to Constant. Constant shoots. Simonian with the save. And a great job by Izzo as he clears that one down. 20 seconds to go. Dixon gets the puck. He passes it, leaves it off for Lattice. This will be the final rush of the game. 11 seconds left to go. Izzo skating across on Lattice. Keeps him outside. Dropping down low. Good pressure there. Maury, 2-1. He shoots and a save, and that will do it for regulation. And just every hockey fan's dream, we have overtime.
Yeah, free hockey doesn't get better than that. And the Mocs, an incredible penalty kill. Lynn, not too many wide open chances. Florida Southern keeping everything to the outside. And we've got overtime, folks.
And we have to mention there is still 4 seconds on that Petterlin penalty kill. So there will be a 4-second man advantage for Lynn. And then he will be out of the box. So goalies will switch sides.
Yeah, we'll go 4-on-3 for Lynn for 4 seconds. Once Petterlin comes out of the box, it'll be 4-on-4 until the next whistle. Then we'll be back to 3-on-3. And who doesn't love 3-on-3 hockey?
You know, I'm a big fan. It creates a lot of space. And it's going to be a 5-minute overtime period. So both teams looking to get an edge here. And Mocs are no stranger to overtime. You know, last year they've had a couple overtime games. Both of them ended in ties. So, you know.
Like you mentioned, both games against Lynn last year went to overtime down in Palm Beach.
And Lynn ended up taking both of those. So Mocs looking to change that as Marshall, Izzo, and Burkhardt are out there against Constant, Maury, Dickinson, and Lattice. So pucks drop, Mocs win that one. They'll fully kill the penalty. So now Petterlin's out there. So 4-on-4 till the next whistle, like Noah mentioned. Burkhardt slowing it down, trying to set up some offense. Izzo's all the way back at the blue line as Marshall's skating it up. He kicks it across to Burkhardt off the boards. Burkhardt chips it around Dickinson, but ultimately couldn't get there. And now a 3-on-2, Constant, Lattice, and Dixon, but Izzo able to get back in the play. Dixon fires a shot. Simonian with the save. Another shot. Another save. And Simonian sprawling out and does a good job there on the first save. And then, you know, Constant stick on the head as he had a wide open net, and he fired that one into the netting.
Yeah, and Simonian very aggressive. He was almost out to the bottom of the circle, sliding out to challenge that shot, and ends up deflecting off him and out of place. That was absolutely the right move there from Simonian. Now we'll go back to 3-on-3.
As, Izzo and Petterlin will skate off, and it'll be Catazone, Marshall, and Burkhardt out there against Kaplan, Judge, and Maury. So Burkhardt, once again, settling down, leaves it for Marshall. 4:09 left to go. Marshall slowing it down. He moves it up, spins around, still pressured. Simonian getting ready in case something crazy happens there. A stick by Kaplan. Looked like he went up high. Marshall shoots, and he scores! The Mocs score in overtime. Will Marshall completes the hat trick, and Dixon is mad. He throws the net down off of the moorings. And that is the game, folks. The Mocs take the second game of this series in overtime. As Dixon's looking to get off the ice, but, you know, there's still the handshake.
Yeah, you got to get back to the handshake line. I know you're frustrated, but yeah, let's talk about that goal. Marshall just waiting for Lynn to just take a little bit of a bite at him, and he blows by. I believe it was Kaplan, and he just takes it up all the way from behind his own net. And a beautiful shot over the blocker of Dixon. And that's a huge win for Florida Southern.
So, yeah, you mentioned it. We talked about it all game. Will Marshall's a threat to score every time he's on the ice, and he shows up. You know, stars shine when the lights are brightest, and that's what Will Marshall did here today. Scoring a hat trick, getting the overtime winner. Obviously the player of the game if you have to pick one from us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to give credit to this entire team as well. They played a very structured game. I've talked about its structure. And they limited Lynn's chances. And when the moments came, they capitalized on theirs.
Yeah, and credit to Vincent Simonian. Played a great game. The team defense around him also really well. You mentioned Donnelly probably saving 2 empty netter goals on 2 big plays. The aggression by Simonian. This is what you like to see from this Mocs team as they continue to find their identity with some of the new additions to the roster this year.
But yeah, so that'll do it. We're back next Friday at 10:15 p.m. as the Mocs take on the UCF Knights.
Yeah, and I love late night hockey, but that will do it from this weekend here on the Southern Hockey Network. The Mocs take this one in overtime, 4-3, splitting the weekend, splitting the series, and they'll prepare for UCF next weekend. Thank you for joining us.